She's a real pain in the... Welcome to the Pain in My Cast podcast with yours truly, Cassandra Jean. She's a real pain in the... Welcome to the Pain in My Cast podcast with yours truly, Cassandra Jean. So I am so excited to have one of my good friends, Preston Hawk, on the Pain in My Cast podcast. We've become really good friends the last few months here in Austin, and unfortunately, this is his last week in Austin. My heart is so sad, but we have had many conversations about why Austin might not be the place for him. So we're going to kind of cover Preston's background, why he even moved to Austin in the first place, just kind of his thoughts on Austin culture, his dating life. He is actually the first guy I've brought on the podcast. So this is exciting to get a guy's perspective. This is not a lady-only podcast. I've always wanted to keep this podcast kind of all-inclusive of Austin culture and just kind of bring on people that I know. So I'm just going to start it off for you, Preston, like what even brought you to Austin? Because even as your friend, I don't even know where you came from, your background. I just know I love you, so...
Love you. So a little of my background. I actually grew up in a little tiny town outside of Wichita, Kansas called Andale with my buddy Gavin, who I actually moved here with. We grew up together. We both kind of decided to move here together mutually. We just sort of like, all right, it's time to get the hell out of Kansas. And so I grew up in a town of like 800 people. Grew up just right outside Wichita, which is like 500,000. So it's not like it's that small of a town. I had a Chipotle and everything growing up, so I wasn't that uncivilized. But anyways, I went to school there. I went to school briefly outside of Kansas City too, in Kansas University, and like real briefly. It was mostly Wichita State for the most part. But the long story short of how I ended up in Austin is I was just bored of Kansas. I was like, all right, I mean, there's not a lot here. This is a fantastic place to grow up and like have a family at, but this is not a place for someone that's like in their 20s. Not at all. So the whole reason I even ever ended up going there was because on spring break back in like, God knows when, some kid told me when I was in South Padre Island, he's like, hey, I'm like, I know you guys are having a great time, but you guys need to check out Austin on the way home. I'm like, is that town with that big, tall blue skyscraper? And he's like, yeah. I was like, all right, I guess why not? Let's check it out on the way home. So we went on the way home up 35 on our way back to Kansas, and we stopped in Austin on 6th Street. And I'm like, what the hell is this place? I was like, this is like the coolest town I've ever been to. And like the food was amazing. I was just like, all right, we're going to come back here sometime soon. And my buddy looks at me. He's like, I'm moving here in 3 weeks. I'm like, no, you're not. 3 weeks later, he lived in Austin. I was like, fuck. I was like, now we all got to go. And I ended up going as I need to finish up college. And I was like, all right, let's go wrap up college, which is going to be another 2 years, and like we can come and visit. So every other month for almost 2 years, I came down to Austin, built up like a huge friend group here, and knew a ton of people from Wichita, a ton of people from Texas, and like everything through like the EDM scene here, because I was huge in EDM, still am. And I was always going to shows every time I was in town, and I was like, screw this, let's move. So I put a Facebook status up when I was cranky one night, and I was like, all right, screw Wichita, I don't want to live here anymore. Not even like an hour later, my best friend messages me, Gavin, and he's just like, hey, funny story. I just got us a deposit on a place in downtown Austin. We leave in 3 weeks. I'm like, oh, shit, it's real. I was like, we're going to Austin. So I ended up moving to Austin. And ironically, I moved here with no job. And, like, I had a pretty good friend group here. So they're all like recommending me for job apps and stuff like that. And I like ended up meeting this random dude at a bar. And he's just like, it's like, hey, you seem like you can actually talk to people. And you seem like a cool guy. I'm like, do you want a job in software? I'm like, yeah. So I took a job in software, and the rest is history. I've been here for 5.5 years now.
Wow, that is so crazy. So, like, right after college, did you move to Austin? Like, it was right after you graduated, you like came to Austin?
Yeah.
That is
yeah, like
you're not the first person either that I know kind of from the Midwest or like Kansas, Wisconsin that went to Padre for spring break and then somehow ended up in Austin. Like, I feel like Austin's just another world, you know, it's different from some of the other states. And also, like, how do the women compare to the women in Kansas, like in Austin?
So, I mean, honestly, like, the girls in Austin, the girls in Wichita and like Kansas City are like, they're different. They're not crazy different. I've always personally thought Texas women are the most beautiful women in the world. I mean, like Midwest girls, like I'm kind of excited to go back home about that for that fact. I'm like Midwest women are like they're very like God. I mean, at least the ones I met over the years that I lived there. I mean, they're very much like they meet you and like they're more determined to like settle down and relax and like get to know you a little bit faster than most girls in Austin. I feel like girls in Austin are like, when's the next date? Like, let's see if this guy fits. If this guy doesn't fit, let's go back to him, kind of thing. That's how I kind of got a vibe off of Austin over the course of the years. I was talking to one of my best friends the other day about that, and he was saying the same thing too. That's kind of the vibes he got from it. But I mean, I had some really, really good dates, and I made some very good friends and dates that I had over the years that I was here that I'll never forget, that I still keep in contact with. I mean, like I said, they're really not wildly different, but I mean, they're two different worlds I kind of thought like at the same time. So they're just kind of my thoughts on it, I guess.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I hear a lot of people, they move to Austin, and I'll hear people say, oh, like the dating must be amazing there. But I don't know. I mean, I've heard some women's perspective on my podcast. Like I know with my girlfriends in the city, were you using like dating apps while in Austin?
Yeah. So like when I first moved here, that's when I was dating the most, like probably the first 3 years I lived here, and I've been here for 5.5. So the first 3 years I lived here, like I knew a lot of people, but I didn't really know like a lot of girls or anything. So like it was mostly just like guys that I met from like EDM scene and stuff like that, and then would casually just meet other girls that way and things. But like most of the time I was on Bumble. Like I hated Hinge. I hated Hinge. I don't know why. I like it now, but I did not like Tinder. I thought Tinder was stupid. But I always used Bumble, and like I went on a pretty good amount of dates over the course of like the first 3 years I was here. And two of them, like I remember two of the girls that I met, I actually ended up dating for a pretty good amount of time, like on and off, kind of like never anything too serious, but like we're always together kind of thing. And then after those first 3 years, like I never really hopped back on the horse. I was like, all right, let's stay single. This is fun. Like let's just do our own thing kind of thing. So that's kind of where I came from, I guess.
Right. Yeah, no, I've always considered Austin like the men to have like Peter Pan syndrome. Like they never want to grow up. But maybe it might be the women here too. Like I could be wrong. It could be like women from the Midwest are more homely, want to settle down, want to get married, where women in Austin are always looking for the next best option. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, everyone's got to play their cards and make sure the right person and everything too. But I just felt like when I the best relationships and the best dates I've ever been on in my life were in Kansas City and Wichita, which is super ironic considering Wichita and Kansas City are the two worst dating spots in the country. The best is Austin. I'm like, shit, I don't agree with that at all. But I'm like, I'm a little different on that, but that's just been me. Because I read that some report like on something on Facebook recently. I'm like, I don't know, but
I'm like, what is quantifying Austin as like the best city to date in? Because
it's all the options of endless things to do. That's why.
Okay.
I mean, Kansas City doesn't have like Kansas City's a phenomenal place. I can't wait to move to Kansas City, but like it just doesn't have like all the outdoor activities. It doesn't have all the outdoor bars. It doesn't have all these cool, trendy places. Like that's what makes it, I think, Austin so unique in a lot of ways too, is everything that it has to offer for the table is just incredible. Like there's endless amounts of things to do every single weekend. And if you meet somebody, like you guys are going to have an endless amount of things to do together. But like, and these like Kansas City and like Wichita, like it's not like that. It's a little bit more like closed off. Like you're pretty limited on what you're going to do together. Not as much Kansas City, more Wichita. Kansas City's pretty, I mean, it's a huge city, but still, that's kind of where I came from, at least on it.
Yeah, that's like a good way of looking at it, because I always consider Austin like so expensive, right? Like I always tell you, you walk out the door, it's like $250 walk out the door. Like people talk about this all the time, but I guess it's because we have so many different things to do here, right? Like there's so many different bars, there's so many different events you can go to, whether like a soccer game or all these things where maybe other cities don't have as much going on. Which maybe sign me up for another city so I can save more money.
No, I mean, like, that's funny you say that, too, because, like, I mean, that was one big reason, like, I came off, like, the deal of the century in the place that I live. I live in a brand new 2-story house with 2 other people. We have 4 bedrooms, 3.5 bath. It's tons of room in a real nice community on the side of town, and I pay, like, $890 in rent, which is ridiculous for Austin. Like, I got the deal of the century with it, but, like, as soon as I moved out to the next place, the places I was looking at here, I was like, I'm going to pay $1,800 to move back out. Because the apartment I had before this, I was paying $1,700. The one before that, we were paying $2,100. I was like, oh, here we go again. I don't want to do this. Because I can go live in Austin or in Kansas City. I'm going to be paying $1,100 for a brand new apartment that no one's ever lived in right across the river from
Wait.
downtown Kansas City with the skyline in my like front yard.
1,100?
So 1,100. And that's counting my parking. That's counting my parking in a garage too.
Oh my God. Do you need a roommate?
Yeah, right? Oh my God.
Like, I'm always telling myself, like, I've got to get in a relationship just so I can have someone to split the rent with. Because it's like, I'll start looking at apartments downtown Austin. It's like $2,600 to live in a high-rise building, you know, with like the nice amenities. And it's so frustrating because it's like, those are one of the type of buildings I want to put myself in. Because think of the people you're surrounding yourself with. Yeah.
And the opportunities too. I mean, there's like, that's what, like, when I lived downtown, I didn't actually live in downtown. I lived right across the river on South Congress and Riverside. So I literally go eat lunch on South Congress, and then I'd walk across the river to go to work. Actually, I rode an electric longboard down to work every single day, and I'd ride that around to the bars occasionally, just carry it around with me. Like, I loved it. It was so much fun. There's endless amount of things to do. The food was fucking amazing. And there was just so much cool shit and cool people, and there's always people out walking around and doing stuff. Like, most cities are not like that. There are not usually a lot of people out walking around. Kansas City, it's not like that as much, but also the weather's not as nice too. But like, it's just a cool vibe. Like, Austin's unique. Like, I feel like it's just got its own little vibe to it. It's so much fun. I'm gonna miss it.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like it's like Disneyland for adults almost.
It really is. It's like that Peter Pan syndrome thing. Like, because I felt like when I got here, I felt like I never wanted to grow up. I'm like, I could do this for the rest of my life, but I'm like, no, I can't. I can't. I'm out.
That's so funny you said that, because like I was like assessing myself like the other weekend, and I know I even like reached out to you. I was kind of having like a mental breakdown, like living here. I was like, what am I doing with my life? I'm like, do I want to be like running around the bars like I am at 42 years old? Because that's definitely not what I want to be doing. And I think it's easy to get caught up in that here. And I know I've talked to you about that a little bit, but I think there is some kind of like hustle culture here, you know?
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, like, I feel like everyone's, maybe it's just me, but I felt like this vibe over 5.5 years. But I feel like always everyone's trying to make a name for themselves here. Like, they're like, oh my God, we run this bar. We go to this bar all the time. We're buying bottles here for the 50th time this week. Kind of crap like that. I mean, I feel like that's Austin in a lot of ways. I'm like, what are we trying to be, Miami? I'm like, it's our own vibes, I guess. But I mean, like, that's just some of it. I mean, like, honestly, like my experience with Austin has been overwhelmingly positive. It's just like, it's too fucking crowded here. That's my problem. And I'm like, I'm ready for like that chill Midwest vibe again. And like, still, because if I want to go turn up and stuff, I can go turn up if I want to in Power and Light District. There's tons of stuff to do and all that. But like Austin, like, fantastic place to come. Definitely have to experience it sometime in your life. If you live here, I'm like, you don't live here forever. Like, definitely go check out some other places. But like, it's an amazing place. I love it.
Yeah, no. Did you see the other day that we had an Austin sign put up kind of by the 360 bridge? Like,
no, what was it?
So it says, instead of like a Hollywood sign, it said Austin. So like,
oh, I did see that. Someone made that on the cliff. Yes. Oh my God. That is the most accurate way to depict Austin I've ever seen. It's turning into freaking LA. Yeah. It is 100% LA. I say it to all my friends from Kansas all the time. I'm like, this place is borderline Los Angeles now. Like, it really is. It doesn't, like, 6 years ago, 5.5 years ago when I came here, it did not feel like this. Now it feels like this. It's like a totally different vibe. And that's another reason why I wanted to leave. It doesn't feel like the old vibe I had when I first came here and when I was visiting back in like 2013 and 2014. Totally different feel to it, I guess. But
no, I agree. I think it's a lot has to do with the growth of the city, right?
Yes.
And it's like all these tech companies are moving here from like Tesla, like Meta has a huge like building here. And I think that even adds to like the hustle culture, the outsiders from Austin culture. I feel like everyone, at least I get caught up in it, but I feel like, you know, all my peers are making like $400K working for some tech company.
Yeah.
Like $4,500 in rent. And I'm like, whoa, like how the fuck do I keep up with this city?
Yes. God, I totally agree. I'm not exactly doing bad. I'm just like, God, I feel like I'm actually struggling a little bit here. I'm like, how is that possible? But I mean, in other cities, like, that's not how it is. I mean, like, San Francisco, hell yeah. Los Angeles, hell yeah. Austin, yeah, it's getting there. But no, that's so true. I couldn't have put it better myself.
No, yeah, I don't know how my friends like afford to do things. And like even our mutual friend Brighton, the other day, I was talking to her and she was like, Cass, like, are you a millionaire? And I was like, no. And she was like, why are you at steakhouses like 2 times a week? And I was like, what a fucking point. Like, I don't know.
God, I know. Hey, if I go to the steakhouse, I'm going to Perry's on Friday. I'm getting an $18 pork chop. I'm going to feel rich, but walk out of there with a full bank account. So I'm pretty happy about that. So there's tricks behind all of that. Someone's going to the specials, I guess. It's the only way to do it in some of these places.
It's so funny. Okay, so you've been here 5 years. Okay.
Dating, over 5, about 5.5.
5.5. Dating, not successful for you here.
Not anymore. So, okay. But I also so in a lot of ways too, like I after those like first 3 years here, we hit COVID, and COVID's the reason why I think I cut off. Is I didn't think I'd go on a date for like a whole year when that happened. Like I didn't try, I didn't bother to. And then I felt like it was tough to get back in the saddle. And I'm like, all right, let's go back to like trying to hit the dating scene and try out these dating apps and stuff like that. I went on a few really pretty decent dates, but like most of the time I felt like they just didn't really go great, and I really wasn't that interested at the end of the day. I never really met anybody that I was excited to text later. I was kind of like, all right, this is okay. Like, it's great. When's the next date kind of thing. That's what I always felt about it. And I always felt like maybe it's just me too, but like I kind of got a Dallasy vibe to like dating lately. Like I feel like everyone's very like pretentious and worried about what you do. Like that question was the first question that came up on 5 dates in a row because I kept track of it. What do you do? And I didn't like just get asked what I do and then moved on to the next question. It was like interrogated what I do. Like, what's your day-to-day situation like? I was like, what? I was like, this is weird. Like, why are you asking me this stuff? So that's what I had in my last like 5 dates. And that's why I haven't been on anymore since.
Spot on. Like the last guy I went on a date with kept kind of like pinning at how much I make. Like kind of figure it out. And honestly, it started making me question my fucking finances. And in a good way, I'm like, shit, like I've got to get it together because I don't want to date someone and then be like, oh, this bitch is broke. Like,
yeah, of course. I mean,
yeah,
of course. I totally feel that too. And like, that's the vibe I got. I kept feeling like I was getting probed the whole time. And like, I'm like, we not worry about that. Just have to see if like we're even compatible. Like maybe for a second date we can talk about that. But like, come on, let's make sure we even work first.
Yeah, it's so bizarre to me, like the financial thing. But
yeah, but like, I mean, I never got asked that. So, like, any date I was ever been on in Kansas, I never once got asked what I did. That's one thing I never got asked, ever. Like, until, like, maybe the very, very end of the date, if anything. But it was always more about, like, tell me about you kind of thing. And I loved that. So, I mean, maybe that was a little hint of why I wanted to come back to the Midwest, because I always felt like those dates there were so much damn better.
Yeah.
But, I mean, hell, people here in Austin, though, like, damn, there's some good people here, though. Don't get me wrong. Like, my best friends in my life live here. So, I mean, shit.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there really is. In regards to dating, have you been on any, like, really bad dates here? Like, do you have any bad dating stories?
I got one that's actually kind of funny. And I told the guys about it, too, because I think the guys are super pumped. They want to hear the stories.
Yeah.
But this one I find pretty funny. But, like, I was on this date with this girl. And we met and like we talked for like the day, and then like by the end of the day we were already on a date. And I noticed like we were at like I think we were at Whistler's, because Whistler's usually like my go-to for some reason. I don't know why. I like patio bars and like cocktails and stuff. But so I took her to Whistler's, and like I was like on like my second drink in like 20 minutes, which is semi-normal. But she was already like on her she was on like her 5th or like 6th by this time. And I'm like scratching my head. I'm like, fuck, am I that awkward? And I'm like. And she's like laughing and like we're having a great time. Our conversation was fantastic. And then she drops a ball on me and she kind of goes like, it's like, hey, I feel so comfortable around you. It's like, this is the best date I've been on all week. I'm like, I'm like, how many? It's like, since we're like, comfortable with each other, I'm like, how many dates have you been on this week? She's like, oh, this is like my 3rd or 4th. I'm like, that's funny. It's like Tuesday at 4:00. It was like
those. All the food and drinks for free.
God, I know. And then like I had this one date that like this girl, I was a little cautious of her at first in the first place. Like she had like on her profile, and she's like, "Don't date me for my money," and I'm like, she has no job description on there or anything. It's like, what? Like, no one knows. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was just like, no one knows what you do. Like, why are you even bringing that up? And then we went on our date. Like, I thought it was going great, and then like she kept looking at the window the whole fucking time, and I was like, maybe this is not going very good. And I acted like I was going to get up, like I pulled my wallet out of my pants and dropped my wallet on purpose so I can take a look out the corner. And I reached down and grabbed it. There was two people sitting there, both leaning in. I'm like, oh fuck. She's like, she brought friends. I'm like, and then like as soon as they noticed me looking at them, they came in and sat at the table with us. And like they're like, oh hey, like happy to see you guys. I'm like, oh that's funny. I'm like, what are the chances of that? And like we ended up like going on like they're like, okay, hey, do you want to come to this Italian dinner with us? I'm like, okay. So we went over to this Italian place right next door. I was like, okay, this is cool. I was like, I get to know her, I get to know her roommate, I get to know her roommate's like boyfriend. Terrible people. Like I could not have a single good conversation with them the whole time. They're just like talking down to me the whole time. And then end of the dinner comes and I'm like, I'm dressed like pretty much like exactly like I am right now without the hat like on, and like I look pretty clean, very clean shaven. I'm like right now though. And like she like her friend like looks at me and I was just like, all right, I'll get her and mine like just on us. And she like grabs my card out of my hand, sits down, and she just goes, oh honey, I don't think you're good for it. I'll take care of this. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, what did I say? And I was like, all right, this is fantastic. I'm like, it's nice meeting you guys. Since you got the bill, I'm going to go and get out of here. You guys have a great night. Peace. Last date I went on, half the reason why I don't want to go on any more dates. That was so terrible.
She's the one that had in her bio, like, don't ask me about my money.
Yeah. But her friend's the one that said that. They're like, I guess they're like roommates. And I was like, God, what did I do? And like, one of my friends happened to be at the bar at the same time, and like he kind of saw what was going on because I was texting him underneath the table, and he's just like, "Dude, I don't get what that was about at all." I'm like, "Whatever." But those are like my two like crappy dating situations I've had in the last few months. But like I haven't been going on dates because I know I was gonna be leaving. I've known for a year that I was gonna be leaving Austin, but I didn't tell anybody until 3 months ago. So.
Okay. How come? Like, why'd you wait so long? Like, what made you decide a year ago?
Because I wasn't totally sure.
Okay.
I wasn't totally sure. I wanted like, I think like in the back of my mind, I was thinking, I was like, fuck, Preston, what if you meet somebody and you stay and like it works out and you're like, okay, well, maybe you're like, you're going to enjoy this more now, like that you're actually dating someone. But I was like, nah, that's not going to happen. I don't care enough. And then I was like, what if like some like cool situation with living comes up? And that never happened either. I was like, I don't really want to do this anymore. I just want something new. I want brand new living situation. I want to like be around my family is the biggest thing. Because I was like thinking like I turned 33 yesterday. I'm like, I don't want to be partying like this anymore. I want to go live around my family. I want to see my cousins grow up. I want to attend their basketball games. I want to go to their baseball games. I want to go to their wrestling matches. And I actually talked to my cousin about it today about like seeing those things and spending that time with them. And that's what I want now. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I feel like as you get older, there's like something nice about like the slowness of things like that, like just enjoying your family, like doing more chill things, you know, going to your family, like little cousins, little nieces, basketball games. Like there's so much stuff that gives you so much more joy than like being out at a bar till 4 a.m., you know?
True.
Even Austin, I feel like has a big like drug culture too. Like when people are out and about, and like I guess that's the same in like any city. Like if you're in Miami, if you're in LA, if you're downtown, but when you're putting yourself in other places, like your nephew's basketball game or whatever, you're not going to run into those same crowds of people. You know?
True. Yeah. 110%. And like, you know, the thing is, like, when I lived in the Midwest, like, I didn't see it like I see it here. Like, it's totally different here. It's just, like, it's very common here. It's very uncommon there, but it's in a little bit different way. I mean, Kansas is a meth place, but, like, I never saw it once for the whole time I was there.
Kansas is a meth place?
Yeah. You ever do that? I guess those guys get bored out there, but like that was a big thing when I went to college there. Like there was like people like hated on Kansas because of stuff like that, but like I never saw it one time the entire time I was there. Like I'd see drugs and stuff while I was there, but like nothing like I do in Austin, I guess is a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I mean, I guess it is, like I said, in any downtown city, it's going to happen, but it's like, I've even like had to, like kind of had like mental breakdowns from it. I'm like, this is too much. Like I have to reassess what's going on in my life and where I want to be at, because it's definitely not Mayfair, the club here, until Friday.
Hey, we've had some good times out there, though. But
some good times.
I mean, like, I feel that same way. Like, I'm as guilty as anybody about going out on the weekends and having a good time as anybody in Austin is, because, like, I love it. I mean, like when the weekend, like, I work my ass off 5 days a week. I work from home, so I never get to leave my house. Like, I'm literally sitting. This is where I spend my entire day. It's right here on this computer with this fucking screen in front of me. And I go downstairs to eat, and then I go downstairs and let the dog out, and then I do that shit, and then I go get food somewhere or do something like that. But when the weekend comes, I'm pretty much gone the entire weekend, out paddleboarding, bars, boats, whatever the heck's going on. Like, it's insane, but, like, I know people back home are like, why the hell are you still doing this? I'm like, because you guys don't have this shit back home. Like, it's kind of why you guys aren't doing it and why we are doing it. But, like, that's why I love Austin, but I also hate it too, because, like, by the time the weekend comes and the weekend ends and Monday rolls around, I'm like, oh, fuck, I feel like shit.
Monday's always like an extended Sunday for me, or at least I tell myself in my head, I'm like, okay, this is the day we get it back together for the rest of the week, you know?
Yeah.
Like, first of all, weekend is not enough, and I do the same thing as you. Like, I work from home, and then as soon as Friday I'm done, I turn my sales report in, I have a glass of wine, and then I'm not home. Out.
Yeah. Just like out relaxing and chilling or anything. Yeah. I mean, like, that's kind of what I plan on doing when it's Kansas. I mean, like, it's just like a lot more of that. I plan on, like, I'm going to be training, like, exercising a lot when I get there with one of my good friends. I'm pretty excited about that. He's going to help me get me back in shape again. And, like, I'm excited about having that lifestyle change too and eating healthier and stuff like that, because I feel like here, like, definitely, like, I used to be in really good shape before I moved to Austin, and I just had a hard time getting back in shape when I was here just because I felt like I was out all the time. Like, it's hard to maintain some certain things. Like, if you're coming to Austin, you got to make sure your priorities and certain things are correct in the right places. But I was definitely guilty of definitely letting this slide. But, like, I mean, Austin's a tough place to live. There's a lot of, like, what am I trying to say, peer pressure to go out and do stuff here.
Yeah, that is so true, because it's weird, because there's a big health movement here. I feel like people, there's a lot of healthy restaurants, there's a trail, people are out paddleboarding, but there also is this mix of bar culture. So it's like you can get caught up in that and then not be in the trail on the weekend. So I get it, you know. And then you also just celebrated your birthday. That was super exciting. You actually celebrated it with a guy who was like one of the worst dates. Okay.
It's really ironic because now he's one of my best friends.
You took my reject date and made him your best friend.
I still laugh about it. It's his birthday today, actually, which is ironic because I already been talking to him today. But, like,
happy birthday, Pink Shorts! Happy birthday.
Yes. I just thought it was really funny because I was like, I'm like, oh shit. I was like, yeah, Cass was my best friends, and he's just like, oh man. I'm like, I don't think that didn't really work out. I'm like, yeah, no shit. I was like, yeah, it just happens, guys. But now he's one of my best friends, and I love it.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. He definitely doesn't like me, but
I don't think he just like dislikes you. I think he's just a little upset.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I've been kind of bad to the men I've been dating, but I just found it funny that, like, I kind of ghosted him and then you became best friends with him. It's funny how that worked out.
I know. I didn't see that coming. I'll give him props. Like, he actually reached out to me, like, multiple times. And he's like, hey, come out with me. I'm like, all right, let's give this guy a shot. I gave him a shot. And I'm like, fuck. And I took him out with James. And James is like, dude, this guy's the coolest dude we ever met. I'm like,
no, he's the nicest dude. He really is the nicest dude. And, like, I didn't like him because he was too nice. And then he, like, went off on me and sent me these texts that I thought were mean. And then I was like, oh my God, I like him now. What the fuck is wrong with me?
I don't even know what to say about that.
I'm creating my own toxic culture over here.
Oh, God. Guys, he was a meanie.
It's so funny.
I mean, he's been on, like, I don't want to talk about him too much because he's not here. I know he's kind of one of the people I was talking about. Like, he's been on some dates too. He's been here, and he had kind of a lot of the same experiences I had, and I felt like that was nice to hear that, like, I'm not the only one. I'm like, God, am I that bad at dating? But no, apparently not. I mean, like, everyone just has like bad dates occasionally. Sometimes you're not going to mesh with everybody you meet. I think I was just on a roll for a little while and met a ton of really cool people at once, and I just happened to get all the bad ones at the very end. So, yeah. I mean, maybe that's how it works.
Yeah. I mean, I think dating apps are like an unfortunate way to date, but if you keep putting yourself out there, like eventually you'll probably meet the right person.
Yeah, exactly. And that's so true. I mean, the best people I've met in my life, I've met organically. Like, just like meeting them, like, not at a bar, not anything else, just like met them at the gym, met them at a store, met them restaurant it, met them with a group of friends. Those have been the best dates I've ever been on, and like the longest relationships I've had. Like, the longest relationship I've had is about 1.5 years, almost 2 years. And this girl just happened to be coming from Kansas City to Wichita because she was in med school there and was visiting my best friend because she was, or my friend because he was dating her best friend, or yeah, however that works. But anyways, long story short, she came over and then we ended up dating for like 1.5 years. Like, it was crazy as hell. And then like it worked out fantastically. The only problem it didn't work out was because she moved to another state, which is how all my relationships have ended, is they've gotten transferred for work.
Yeah.
The fourth one in a row that's happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to dating, I think end of the day, it'll work out how it's supposed to work out. And yeah. I think that's even like you moving, there's like a reason you were called to do that. You know, I feel like internally there's a reason you felt that that's where you needed to go to become the best version of yourself. So I think that's cool that you kind of saw that in yourself and like are making the change to do that. But otherwise, happy 33rd birthday. That's super exciting. Yeah. And I know it's like, it's your last week, right? Like, when do you leave?
Technically next week is, but this is my last real week. I mean, like, actually being able to go do things, because I'm going to be packing for like 5 days because I have movers coming next Wednesday, and then I'm taking my car up next Friday.
So you leave next Friday?
Mm-hmm.
So RIP to Austin next Friday for a little bit until you come back to visit me.
They what?
I said RIP to Austin life for a little bit until you come back to visit me.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I mean, hey, I might be coming back for Blended Fest in September, so we'll see what happens. Because that is my favorite festival.
It is the best festival. It's so fun. Oh my
God. It was the last year when I did was like, I was like, this is ACL times 500 to me.
I think it's better than ACL.
Oh, it's so much better than ACL.
So much better.
Better drinks too.
Yeah. So much fun. Okay, well, thanks for coming on, Preston. I really am like so glad I got to talk to you before you leave Austin. And then I just got to have you pimp yourself out. Where can people find you on Instagram, social media? Give us your handles.
So the best way to find me is probably Instagram, because Instagram is the only thing I really ever care about. It's literally just my name, Preston Hawk. PrestonHawk. Preston Hawk. No little spaces, no nothing. Find me on there. You're probably going to find me pictures of me on the lake or doing some random crap like that. But like, that's what or an EDM show, but that's where I'm at. And that's what I do. When you'll probably see Cass in the background at some point too.
On your Instagram page, there's pics of me.
Yes, there are. You and Jamie.
Awesome.
I think Sydney's on there too.
I know. Our friends. All our wild Austin friends.
Awesome.
Right.
Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. This is last, like, first time I've done a podcast. Thanks for having me on, Cass.
I'm so glad you came on, and I'm so excited you were the first guy I got to have on my podcast. So
what an honor.
I know. Thank you. Bye, Preston. Bye.